So thank you for joining us. Hi, if this is your first time to the channel, welcome. We make videos that are all things Southern California. What it's like to live here, work here, play here, own a home here. And we thoroughly enjoy it. Hi, my name is Bruce Clark. I'm a real estate agent, and I've been doing this more than 17 years. Wow, time goes fast. And so it's been fun. If you like these videos, do us a favor, hit the subscribe button, click the bell for notification so we can notify you next time we upload a new video on things just like this. So we're going to talk about Proposition 19 today, and Proposition 19 is a really big deal. And in California, we have various, we get a vote on what's called propositions. So we have Prop 16, 19, we have Prop 13, and we had 19, we had Prop 60, Prop 90, we have all kinds of propositions. That's just in real estate. There's a lot of other propositions, but we get a vote on them, and unfortunately, not always are our votes good votes, so to speak. They don't always do what they were intended, I think, for us. However, Prop 19 is different. I think that the benefit is enormous. I think there's so many things that it does, and for people when it comes to real estate. So basically, so we had Prop 60 and 90, and that allowed you to transfer, if you're over the age of 55, allowed you to transfer a tax basis. And they're still in existence, but then they came out with Prop 19. So Prop 60 and 90 were limited by counties. Last count, there were 10 counties that were participating in Prop 60 and 90, and so you could transfer a tax basis. You could do it intra-county, so you could buy in, for example, Orange County, you could buy in and you could sell Newport Beach and buy in Irvine, and it would allow you to transfer a tax basis. You know, there's some guidelines and things. Same thing, you could go from Rancho Santa Margarita to San Clemente. So, and then you could sell in Orange County and transfer to some other counties. Again, there's only 10, and there are guidelines that they had. There were limits on pricing. There were limits on all kinds of values and things like that. So, but it did allow someone over the age of 55 to transfer a tax basis. None of this is legal financial advice. Certainly consult your or accounting advice. Consult your appropriate professionals, please, because there's so many things that factor into all of this. And then what happened around the time of COVID is there was a new proposition called Prop 19. And Prop 19 replaces Prop 60 and 90 for many people. And it was interesting because I was helping someone sell who was over the age of 80. Wonderful guy, was doing push-ups and walking every day, and just was in great shape. I'd love to see that. Right when Proposition 19 was passed, it was announced, and became law, the gentleman ended up selling and buying, and I was helping him transfer his tax basis. And tax basis he was transferring was on a property in like the $100,000 range. I mean, bought it many, many years ago, and the one he bought was over $800,000. But it was allowing him to transfer a tax basis so that he could keep his taxes low, and that's important, and it really incentivized seniors to sell and to buy. So I'm 63, so I don't really consider seniors 55, but it is what it is. So my wife wants me to take advantage of all the opportunities and being a quote unquote senior. But anyway, so what it did was allowed to transfer a tax basis, and there's some guidelines and stipulations when it came to the transfer. They also were allowing people that had been damaged by wildfires. And that's one of the things, one of the impetuses for Prop 19 was because there were some wildfires out here, and some homes have been destroyed. And if you're of a certain age, you can't really afford to buy another home and have a high tax basis. So it was really important to figure out how to allow people to move that tax basis. If and I'm going to come back to this. What's interesting, if California wanted to incentivize people to sell and to buy, that's one of the things they could do. Market update. We're down over in some areas over 50%. We're down year over year sales. It's not that we don't have buyers. It's that we don't have inventory. There's just not enough homes to sell to people that are looking to buy. And the reason for that is because tax basis. If you're in a out here $1 million homes, not in fact the average is over $1 million. So but sake of argument, say you have $1 million home and you're looking to buy, and sake of argument, you're looking to buy a $2 million home. So you'd love to move the tax basis of the $1 million home. And let's say it's 750,000 or 800,000. If you could move that tax basis and you could move it to the new home, that would incentivize the person to sell. And the reason I say that is because the tax difference between, let's say, sake of argument, your 1.3% tax difference is 13,000 versus, let's say, 26,000. It's not inconsequential. But if you could move that, that would be a big deal. And I think that would stimulate. People are not right now not selling to move because the prices have gone up. However, dual-edged sword. If you're an owner, you've seen appreciation, and so you want to take advantage of the appreciation as a seller. However, the flip side is, as a buyer, you're going to have the same issue. Those homes have gone up. By the way, happy Memorial Day, and for all those veterans, thank you for your service, and all those who have sacrificed for our country. I want to say thank you. Rates also a big deal. We're seeing over 40% of buyers are using rate buydowns. So if they could figure out a way, so let me come back. So there was California came out with an equity share program. Neat idea, very interesting idea. They could do something along that lines with some type of rate, because if you're in a $1 million home at 3% and you're looking to buy a $2 million home and you're going to be at 6%, all things being equal, your price, your payments have doubled. All things being equal, if it's $1 million loan, now it's $2 million loan. You've also got the tax consequences. So that's what I say. If they could figure out a way to include more people in a proposition, and I know a lot of times, we look at it, well, if someone wants to buy and they can't afford it, they shouldn't buy. That's what certainly people say. But right now, because because of low inventory, there's got to be other mechanisms to stimulate. And that's something I think, certainly as I was doing the research and answering some questions about Proposition 19, 16, 90 for some people over the years, that's something that's come to the fore, especially right now with such low inventory. We're looking for a buyer in Riverside and in all of Riverside County in their price range, in the bedroom count they have. There's 5 homes available. Typically there would be 50. So we're 10% inventory. That's a big number. But Proposition 19 really went a long way towards people moving their tax basis. It also started applying to some other things. And again, I'm certainly, this is not legal or financial advice, but allowed some intra-family things. And what we saw, for example, it allows movement anywhere in the state, and that I touched on. You can purchase a more expensive home. That was a big deal. And you can use the Proposition 19 3 times in your lifetime. That's a big deal. That's not something we've typically seen. It has to be a primary residence, that we know. It couldn't be a property for investing, and it has not applied to the commercial, and that's going to be interesting. So again, Prop 60 and 90 had some other things that went along with it. And I just want to make certain as I'm going along that I get the information correct, because this is this is a big thing. But the it does allow substantial uh, decrease, so to speak, in the taxes of the new home. Now, um, it came into existence April 1st of 2021, and so that was the first time. And so you had to. So prior to that, it was Proposition 60 and 90. But for California, that's a big deal. We also have Prop 13. Proposition 13 is the most famous one, because what that does is that keeps our property values down. If you're in Texas or Florida or New York, I don't know of any other state that has a proposition like this. So we talk about the expense of owning California real estate. Yes, California real estate's more expensive in lots of other areas of the country. However, our taxes are most likely lower. If you're in a home, if you buy a home for $850,000 and it goes to $10 million over 30 years, let's say 2.5, 3 million, then your property value, your taxes will go up, but not at a rate even remotely like you would be in some other states. They don't continually reassess that. They don't do a mark to market as far as tax bills. They are going to have an increase based on appreciation, and there's a formula there, but it's not even remotely as substantial. So when people talk about, for example, here in Irvine, there's the Great Park, and it has a little higher tax basis, and it has Melrose, which is the infrastructure, the infrastructure improvement bond is basically what it is. So the total is 1.6, 1.7%, depends on where. That's not as high as we see in lots of other areas of the country. So $1 million, 1.7%, sake of argument, $17,000. If you buy an older home in, let's say, a North Park, or certainly in the El Camino Real area, you're going back to the 70s and 80s, you don't have Melrose, your tax basis is a little bit over 1%. My understanding, looking at Texas and some other states, it's about 2%. So that's a big difference. But allowing someone to transfer a tax basis, it will continue to really help stimulate those people that are looking to move a tax basis, especially if they're cash buyers. And it's not unusual for a seller to be able to do that. However, again, the big fly in the ointment, so to speak, is someone's going to loan, it's going to be the rates, and then of course, if you're under 55, it's going to be moving a tax basis. So there's so much to go with Proposition 19, but that really is the gist of it. Allows you to move a tax basis if you're 55 and over to another property with certain restrictions. It has to be primary, and it can't be it can't be an investment, and then there's some other stipulations, but that really is the gist of Proposition 19. Going to be interesting. Some of the things they've tried to do, some of the propositions that they've talked about putting on the ballot are things such as not having credit reports for rentals, not being able to do a search for eviction history, not be able to search for a criminal history, and working with both landlords and tenants. I think we need certain requirements there. So watch out. Certainly, if you're a resident of California, watch for all those different propositions, and certainly reach out to us if you have any questions about that. Southern California real estate. Let me come back for a second. Talk about the Fed. So the Federal Reserve, they just the government, evidently the White House just cut a deal with the House of Representatives, and we're going to have they're going to raise the debt ceiling, which is the 79th time, and they're going to slow down some spending. However, it seems like the Federal Reserve is still going to raise rates. We see inflation continuing to tick up. We've seen enormous increase in household debt. consumer debt, the numbers are just, it's crazy. We're over 27 trillion dollars. We've never been that high. We haven't started seeing a lot of foreclosures. We haven't started seeing a lot of distressed sales. We're starting to see some big companies that had been doing house flips put their homes, they're selling the homes, and we saw Open Door sell a lot of homes, and many of them for loss. They reported substantial loss. In Zillow, excuse me, one of the largest buyers of single family homes they wanted to rent them. It's called Invitation Homes, which was a spinoff from by Goldman Sachs. And Invitation Homes we're starting to see a lot of their homes on the market. So again, I'm not certain if that, because someone like Invitation Homes is a leading indicator, a lagging indicator. Not certain yet. It's going to be interesting. We do know that managing so many properties, I think managing an apartment building is radically different than managing single family homes. Single family homes very well could be you're dealing with HOA, homeowners associations out here in California, which have very different guidelines. We have very different guidelines when it comes to certain communities. I was selling an apartment building in Santa Monica. We had the ocean. There were certain stipulations that applied to that area in Santa Monica. So it wasn't just the homeowners association. The city said, hey, because you're fairly close to the ocean, here's the requirements and stipulations. And it was really a lot different than we see in Orange County. For example, if you update one unit, then you have to update all the units. And the gentleman took me into one of the units, and he said he wanted to replace the oven, the stove, and because it just wasn't in the best of shape. But he couldn't, because he'd have to go in all the other units and replace all the stoves, all the ovens, and not all of them needed it. So it would disincentivized, and it really does come into tied up with a neat little bow, so to speak, with Prop 19 and additional, hopefully, propositions we're going to see. But that was a stipulation. So that's what I'm saying about Invitation Homes. I think as you're running into the minutia of single family home ownership and homeowner associations, and gosh, out here we have the Coastal Commission. So if you're looking to buy a property on the water and you wanted to make some upgrades, you wanted to scrape the home and build a new one, it could take you years and years, potentially decades, literally, to get through all the permits and all that, all the approval process. So I think, again, that's why I say leading and lagging. I see it a bit leading indicator. I think they want to take some money off the table. I've got to go read all the 10Qs, 10Ks, and all that. It's interesting. We're still seeing a lot of buyer interest though in the prices in property small price ranges. We're seeing some fix and flips, which is interesting. We're seeing FHA. They've got the 40-year loan modification program. That's interesting. A lot of down payment assistance programs. Down payment assistance programs, we call them DPAs. So they pointed out in one of the properties I was selling, there were 28 different programs. So as prices continue to move upward, and certainly though we've had some retrenchment in prices all throughout the sum of Orange County and Irvine, Newport Beach, Newport Coast, we haven't really seen it. And certainly Riverside in the price range of 500,000, we've not seen it. So, but coming full circle, wrapping all this up, Proposition 19 really helps those who are in a position that want to maintain a certain tax basis and also then move into another home. We see a lot of people that are selling 2 stories and want to move into single level. I like Proposition 19. I think it does a lot of good. Watch out for other propositions. We might see other propositions that help people that are under 55 sell and move their tax basis. And if we do, I really think that's going to stimulate buying. So right, come in right to 20 minutes. I appreciate you joining me. And so whether you're looking to make a move in the next 5 days, 50 days further out, give me a call, give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email. We'd love to help you make a smooth move to the area. And certainly if you're looking to sell, let us know. We do single family homes, condos, townhouses. We've even with mobile homes, we help people lease properties, both tenants and landlords. We've helped people with investment property, commercial property. So I have a full team of people that can help no matter what you're looking to achieve. Reach out to us. We appreciate you joining us. Happy Memorial Day. Again, thank you for all those who have served and are serving. Have a great rest of the weekend.